Wonderful. Thank you so much, Osama, um, for taking us through this journey. Um, See, what was important really, and apologies for putting this pressure on you to prepare a new talk and a new presentation. I know how difficult it is. We are all accustomed to delving into our archives, picking up an old slide deck and giving lectures wherever we want to, and then somebody surprises you with a new topic. That is unfair. But I know I really wanted this because of the massive amount of learning that has come through DEF to all of us. Because at DEF we learned in various ways what philanthropists look for. What is it that they why is it that it's easy for some to raise funds? Why is it so very difficult for others, even if they are doing the same thing? Does it become more difficult if you are a large recipient of funds, or if you are broken down into smaller capsules? So these are all issues that DEF and you have grappled with. There are questions, as you can see, uh, uh, coming up in the chat window. Ganesh has just asked this very simple but a very difficult one, that how do we get India to give? You see, I remember 7 years, no, about 10 years ago, Warren Buffett, in our annual meetings, Warren Buffett attends one annual meeting at the Gates Foundation. And his point was that the reason philanthropy and philanthropy giving is big in the US is because everybody gives, because there is a culture of philanthropy. And his famous quote that if I give a $15 million grant to somebody versus this wage earner black lady who comes and drops $7 out of her weekly income into the church box, the bigger charity is what she gives. And for me, $15 million is nothing. So how do we get that going? And that's really Ganesh's question. How do we get this culture going among young Indians, the younger fellows? We only have these
So,
Azim Premji kind of.
Ganesh's question is I would say is not a question, is the agenda.
Yeah.
Is actually, because we certainly know that it is not happening in India. Even if you just count on your fingers of all the high net worth individuals, and if you count that how much cash they have and how much are they giving, this question actually takes that what is it going on in their mind or their culture or their custom, that is this insecurity? Is this that you want to secure next 20 years, 30 years, 40 years of your family, or what? I mean, and this is something is a topic for creating a policy, of creating a campaign, of understanding that how do you deal with money? How do you deal with earning? How do you deal with assets? How do you deal with acquisition? And how much is enough and how much is not enough? And I feel that in India, the whole population after the independence, we have been growing with a lot of insecurity, and for that we actually go and acquire a job, and the first thing is that how can we become an earning person and ensure that everything is taken into consideration and everything we acquire. I mean, imagine that the whole country is taught in financial inclusion saving, not spending, or not giving. We are actually taught saving. So that means we are also at the back of our head, we haven't put a limit to saving. How much should we save? Is there in our mind? And that is the reason why this entire thing is so scarce in our thought process and practices in our daily life. That we have no idea that एक घर हमारे लिए काफी है या चार घर काफी है, तीन घर काफी है, हर बच्चे के लिए एक घर चाहिए, हर बच्चे के लिए बैंक में 20 लाख रुपए चाहिए या 1 करोड़ रुपए चाहिए, so that they can go, because the limit is limitless also, you know, there is no end to that limit. Also because there are hundreds of things in the country which is not taken care of by the government. You know, for example, you know, we are not sure that we will get the best quality health service. We are not sure of we will get best quality of education. We are not sure we are going to best quality of shelter. We are not sure we are going to best quality of food supply. There are many things in the country where the philanthropy is at a very high level, is because there are many things is given. Education, no problem. You know, you don't have to earn separately for your fees for your children. You don't have to worry about the quality of education when you go to school, that here all the English educated school or a convent educated school, and the rest of the schools are for Dalits and minorities and all that, and so on and so forth. So how do you do that? So I think it's also embedded into the practice and the policy and the governance, this entire thing. But it is a very serious question. This question is not only alive today, but it has been alive for the last 10 years, at least 10 to 15 years. And I know that, I don't know whether it's hearsay that when Bill Gates wanted to create a culture of giving in India, he held a meeting with many people in Bombay or somewhere. And in that meeting, even the most high net worth people did not commit anything in that meeting, which was very easy for you. Also here, many people want to give money, and they want to give money on their own condition, that I want to give only for mandir, or I want to give only for masjid, or I want to give only for hospital. I don't want to, you know, so my name should be there, my nameplate should be there, my agenda should be there. I don't want to quote one company, but there is a company which has got a liability of giving CSR about 250 crore every year. And their internal policy is that keep 50 crore not to be committed, because the owner says that when I travel and keep meeting my friends here and there in the airports, I have to keep my word that, you know, किसी को मुझे 1 करोड़ देना पड़ता है, किसी को 5 करोड़ देना पड़ता है, कोई भी कभी भी मांग लेता है, friends है, हमको देना पड़ता है. So don't give allocate everything for a proper institutional funding for CSR, but keep this 50 crore for my personal discretion, that when I tell you whom to give, you give. So, you know, it's like keeping a change for yourself to spend on your friendship, you know, that give it here, give it there. You know, it's a complex, as I said, it's a complex world. It's a complex, philanthropy is a very, very complex world. It's I mean, think about it. We got PM, what fund? PM
Cares.
Cares Fund.
PM Cares.
Yeah, PM Care Fund. And we have no idea how much you have collected. So, you know, why I'm saying this, that if my head of the country is not revealing how much you have received in your philanthropic fund, then I am thinking that मुझे क्यों बताना है यार? Why should I be accountable? How much have I received, and why should I tell? Then it leads to what are you doing, what are you not doing, and things like that, you know. So there are you know, we also don't have a great leadership path which is created that we should follow, that this is the way you should do. On the other hand, Tatas have created a trust as the owner of all the companies. You know, their Tata Trust itself is owner of each and every company that it belongs to them. That means everything that they earn goes into a trust, you know, which is actually it's a family trust, of course, but it must have made from the perspective that ultimately we have to keep on investing on the society or the community, you know, or for the development of the country. So, you know, there are many things that we have here, but as I said, what Ganesh is saying is a single sentence of agenda that we need to work on to figure out that to serve 1.4 billion people, if have only, let's say, you know, 1 million earners of the country, how do you actually use those resources in such a way that, you know, people are okay, you know, everybody is taken care of.
Yeah, thanks. You know, Osama, a little bit on the other end of the spectrum, this retail funding. This, all these various platforms that have come up.
Yes, I mean, I would
Yeah.
say retail funding is retail funding vis-a-vis, let's say, online crowdsourcing, both mechanism.
Yeah.
Earlier crowdsourcing was based on that you would organize a meeting, you will call people, you will put a dabba, and you will ask people to donate. Even in US, I see that lots of people organize various big level of meeting, call for dinner or something, and they donate on various things. That is also crowdsourcing in a way. But now crowdsourcing has gone to the level of giving an opportunity even to the most, Tom, Dick, and Harry kind of individual to give even 1 rupee as a donation. And there is a mechanism. And it has also created a whole lot of transparency and opportunity also, because you can also have a crowdsourcing platform which is retail philanthropy for hundreds of purposes. For example, you go to Milap, for example, you go to Rangde, for example, you go to somewhere else. You can literally track your philanthropic money to see that how it has been, whether it has benefited a child, or whether in oxygen, or in hospital, or in pillar and post, or in brick making, or what. I mean, you can literally track them. And that actually, I would say, can be the future of funding mechanism infrastructure, and also equitability, creating equitability in the funding sourcing and the funding disbursement. If everything fails, or institution fails, or everything else fails. For example, I see that this year itself, in the second wave, one keto based crowdsourcing raised 60 crores. 60 crores. I mean, that's a huge money. That kind of funding you don't generate on crowdsourcing platform, or or a dinner meeting or something. It's a very huge thing. And with the name, big organization committing 4 crores, 5 crores on the web, on the internet, saying that in that area. So it is very interesting, I would say, as far as the accountability is concerned, as far as the responsibility is concerned, as far as the transparency is concerned. This retail funding is very important, and good that the online platforms with a very meager commission, or a very meager administrative cost, providing it from 1%, 2% to 10% or 12% is certainly a great path breaking examples these days. Just that I think it has to grow more. I mean, we might be seeing that in coming times. For example, if Keto is there, or Milap is there, or many such organization is there, we might see that people are raising philanthropic fund for art, or culture, or movies, or entrepreneurship making, or education, or something. So there might be a further division on creating, pillar-based or a sector-based fundraising, which is great, I would say. I mean, this is less dependency on large funding, because I believe that large institutional funding is always compounded by a strategy, politics, ego, and agendas.
Okay. Is volunteering also philanthropy? Well, volunteering time.
Yes, of course. I mean, if a not-for-profit organization getting 1 crore rupee to spend on children education, and spending about 10 lakh only on designing pamphlet, and giving money to do something which may not be directly required, and if somebody is saying, I can be your designer, I can be your analyst, I can be your something, and I'm volunteering, that is a huge contribution, and that is as good as, saving money on the money that you might have spent otherwise. So, but the point is, again, I see that in the CSR sector, in the company sector, a lot of people are putting man hour or manpower equivalent to the giving, which I doubt that, those number of hours is properly being translated into creating that kind of value, or it is just filling the Excel sheet.